Now that we've installed Jupyter notebooks by way of Anaconda, let's actually do an exercise. Now, first let me make the distinction between Anaconda and Jupyter notebooks. Anaconda is a package manager and an environment manager. When you installed Anaconda, it actually came with I'm not sure how many actual applications came with it, but it also installed another version of Python for you. And the purpose of Anaconda is just to make it easier on you to do a number of things, not just Python and Jupyter notebooks. So you can learn more about that as time goes by. But for the time being, let's look at actually creating something in Jupyter notebooks. And what I've done is I've consulted ChatGPT and worked with it to develop a lab, a first exercise. So let's look at that. To open Jupyter notebooks, go to Start. My starts on the across the top. Start, Anaconda, and I think it's best to start it with the Navigator. You can try this one. I'm going to do Navigator. And when you do, there's going to be several of these windows, command prompt windows, pop up and then close. And the Conda is pretty complicated. Now I just get a little message here that it's already running, and it is. Let's see if I can remember where it's at. Now, again, my taskbar is up at the top and you can't see it. But I found the little icon for Anaconda Navigator, and this is what it looks like. And this is Jupyter Notebook, where you launch it, and there's all this other stuff here, and you can even add stuff to this stuff. So it's really amazing. But to start a new Jupyter Notebook, I'm going to click Launch here. Now this is going to open up in a web browser, and mine opens up in Vivaldi, and I get a list of part of my file system. I'm not even sure where this is at, because these things here are Start menu links. Well, they're in the Start menu, but they're also on C drive, I think. Anyway, you can figure this out later. What we want to do is click on New and Python 3. So this is a brand new notebook. It's running in a browser tab, if you will. And let me show you how this works. Now, here's the worksheet, and I'll provide this to you. And for some reason or other, I am locked into night mode here, and I can't get it to switch back. So yours won't look exactly like this. But let me show you some things you can do. First thing, I'm going to highlight this. And now, let's go back over to the notebook. What you see here, this thing is called a cell. Right now, it's ready to receive some sort of code. I want to give it just some text. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the escape key. First, I need to click in here and make sure it knows where my mouse is. Escape key, and then M. Notice how this changed. Now here, this cell now will accept text. Well, specifically text that's been formatted as Markdown. So Markdown is just to me, I look at it as somewhat of a variation of the whole concept of HTML. You give it special commands and it uses those to format. Here's what I mean. I'm going to do Shift and put in a pound sign. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste this. Now I can right click here. I think you're better off doing Control V, which is going to paste what we copied out of the lab. Notice this first line is this tall and this one is not. If I want this one to be more than what is there, I can do Shift pound to put a space in, and notice how it is now different. It's bigger, but it's not as big as the one with the 1 pound sign. And if I went ahead and added something else with 3 pound signs, it would be even smaller. So that's the way that works. Now, we can use this to embed comments in the notebook as we go, which is pretty slick. Now to get out of this, or actually to run this, and this goes for any sort of cell, Shift Enter. Alright, that executed that and give us a new cell. Now this one's set up for code, remember. Go back over here and I would actually put, well, let's do that. Open Anaconda and create a notebook. Well, that's pretty simple. Let's go down here and load the data. So I'm just going to skip that part there. There's no real commands here. It just tells you what to do. You can right click and copy, or you could have did a Control C. And I keep mentioning these keyboard shortcuts because I think they'll save you time. So Escape and M to turn this back into a markdown cell, a couple of pound signs, and now instead of grabbing the mouse, I want to hold down Control and V, paste that, and go Shift Enter and run it. And the point I'm trying to get to you about keyboard shortcuts is if you look at your workflow, anytime you have to leave the keyboard with your hand and pick up the mouse or touch the mouse, you're wasting time. It's hard on you as well. So I think you're better off to learn as many keyboard shortcuts as you can. So here, click Control V. Now that pasted it. Now hopefully you will realize by now what Python code looks like. So that's Python code. It's importing some libraries. And I'll show you something here in a minute. I'm going to press Shift Enter. Okay, so there's no error, so it did that. But now that I look at this, I'm thinking, I should have put something above this as far as a comment explaining what I'm doing, because I'm not loading the data yet. So let's do this. If you click on this, hit Escape and A, it inserts another cell above where you were when you did this. So now Escape M, and I can either copy it over, or if you think it's easier, and I often do, you can just type it in, import libraries, Shift Enter. Now notice that was 3 pound signs. It's even smaller. Okay, so I'll put in a label there, show you what you're doing. Let's go back over here to my instructions. So we did that. this next step, load the data set. So let's get that. So Control C. Actually, when this menu is open, it doesn't work. That should work. Control C. And this is again going to be a markdown. So Escape M. And this was a three pound sign. And then Control V. Load the data set. Excuse me, and Shift Enter. Okay. Now we can go get the code. So I'm going to copy. Now as soon as you highlight it, you can do Control C. Okay. And you don't have to worry about the right click in with the mouse. Now click here and Control V. Okay. Now Shift Enter. So it actually loaded some data. And here's what happened. It went out to this URL and grabbed this CSV file. CSV is comma separated value file, and read it in. Now this DF, that's going to basically stand for data frame. So this becomes an object, okay, or this is an instance of an object. And now that we say DF head, this gives the first so many lines of this big file that we fed in. And notice the years 1850 through 1854. Pretty sure we could do, and we could actually try that, if we go here and type DF, and this is not in the instructions. Let's try DF tail and Shift Enter. And see, now we've got the last 5 years. So head and tail are a method that can be applied to this object. And again, this is Python. Now, Jupyter Notebooks will do other languages besides Python, just so you know. Now, here's what I would do, and you can do a couple of those back up here. Now you're looking at this, well, what is this? You can come over here, or you can just type it in whenever you want. Let's see, we just did load the data set. What this does, let's just highlight this. Highlight, Control C. Come over here, Escape M to turn that into a markdown. Click here, let's do 3 pound signs, space, Control V, and it got the little bullet. That's alright, I just leave it myself. And then Shift Enter. So now this tells us what we were looking at. So let's do one more while we're on a roll. So we loaded the data set. Now let's explore the data. And I'm just highlighting and copying some text. So we need to turn this cell into markdown. Control M. And now let's do I need to click in there. And that's unfortunate that I had to take my hand and put it on the mouse. There may be some trick there that I don't know, haven't figured out yet. 3 pound signs, Control F, Shift Enter. So now we're down to the next section. And I'll run one more Python command here because this is pretty interesting. So I'm working off my sheet of instructions here. And I'm going to paste this in. This is one of those cases where it's easier to do the right click. Shift Enter. So what this does, it's running the describe method. So you get a count, the mean, and these are statistics. Standard deviation, the minimum, these are what we call quartiles, 25%, 50, and 75, and the max. So This is an analysis, a rough analysis of the data that was in this CSV file that we got off the internet. That's what you're seeing there. And you'll see later that these are actually numbers that are variations from the median, the median global temperature for various years. And you can see this up here. Anyway, this puts me down to, in my lab here, let's see, we just got there doing that. And I need to add like another label, another markdown like that. And then I can go on and do tail. I did tail a while ago, didn't I? And then I can do some visualization. This will actually create graphs. Okay, it's really cool. And a trend line to the graph, and give you some information on recent data, etc. And what I want you to do is start your own Jupyter notebook and basically work through this. And I think pretty well complete instructions here. I just wanted to do this video to show you the couple of things about these shortcuts. Now, one other thing to remember here, be aware of, if you click up here on Help, you can come down here to Keyboard Shortcuts. Now, these are some of the commands I was using. Remember, I kept mentioning to go to Command Mode, press Escape. And then you press one of these. So to change a cell to Markdown, I was constantly doing Escape M. And I also did an Escape A, which is in here somewhere. Yeah, insert a cell above. Escape B will insert a cell below where you're currently at. And most of these we didn't use. So these are all important, and you will tend to learn them as you need to. And besides that, you need to know something about Markdown. Now here, I just did a Google search on Markdown and got the Markdown cheat sheet. Nothing magic about this. But here's what I was using. The pound signs were various header sizes. And that was enough for this particular exercise. You can do other things. And hopefully over time you will use this enough that you start remembering these without having to look them up. But there's a lot of things that actually use Markdown for formatting. And that's all this is. That's all Markdown is. It's just a way to use punctuation signs to format text. And this Markdown file, when you save it, is basically just a text file with embedded punctuation that is interpreted to recreate formatting. So I'll post this lab exercise and just follow my instructions and work through this. And what I want you to realize here is how easy it is to do some pretty complex analysis of data. And that's one of the reasons why Jupyter Notebooks is extensively used in data analysis. And knowing at least something about it hopefully it'll give you a leg up on other job applicants out there. So have fun with this.